Highlighting headlines. Construction of 4,000 housing units in Hurumala Phase 2 nears completion. Chief spokesperson Hina Walid reaffirms government commitment to democratic values amid opposition criticism. And tourist arrivals in Maldives reach 1.5 million.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to News. I'm Amina Ismail, your host for today. The construction of 4,000 housing units by Fahindi Rural Corporation (FTC) in Hurumala Phase 2 is nearing completion, marking a major milestone in the government's efforts to address the Maldives' long-standing housing shortage.
During an inspection visit to the site on Thursday, President Dr. Mohamed Moise received a detailed briefing on the project's progress. The previously stalled development has seen significant momentum over the past 18 months, following the President's instructions to fast-track housing delivery. With the majority of construction now in its final stages, the government aims to begin handing over completed flats to eligible recipients later this year. According to the President, flats will be allocated to individuals who meet the required eligibility criteria, with cases involving fraud or regulatory violations excluded from the allocation process. The 4,000-unit project is part of a wider state-led housing plan, which includes land reclamation in parts of the Mali region and outer islands, as well as apartment construction projects in the atolls. A housing loan scheme is expected to be introduced later this year, offering interest rates below 5%. This marks a significant step as current interest rates on housing loans remain largely unaffordable for the average citizen. The loans are being designed in line with Islamic finance principles, and the government has said that all citizens aged 18 and above will be able to apply. The FTC Flats project is one of several initiatives currently underway aimed at increasing housing availability in the country.
The chief spokesperson for the President's office, Hina Walid, has reaffirmed the administration's commitment to democratic values following criticism from opposition Maldivian Democratic Party (MDP), which accused the government of obstructing a political event. Hina took to her official X account and highlighted recent actions taken by the administration to promote democratic freedoms. She noted that in the past, public gatherings without prior permissions were restricted to the carnival area. However, the current government has expanded the list of designated areas where political activities can be held freely, now including the Mali Industrial Village, Osfaskando and Rasfano alongside the carnival area. He also stressed that upholding democratic values requires both freedom and responsibility. She stated that establishing a fully functioning democracy in the Maldives depends on the responsible conduct of political activities and the exercise of free speech in a manner that serves the nation's interest. She further called on political leaders to refrain from making misleading statements that could erode public trust. The spokesperson emphasized that upholding the rule of law and preserving the democratic system must be grounded in principles of integrity and responsible political engagement. First Lady Madam Sajda Mohammed has returned to the Maldives after attending the 7th Merck Foundation First Ladies Initiative Summit in Dubai from 18 to 19 June as guest of honor. During the summit, she delivered a keynote address and took part in the committee meeting, highlighting key social and health challenges facing the Maldives. She called for stronger technical partnerships to fill critical healthcare gaps, particularly in specialized fields such as fertility and embryology, and noted national efforts to improve access to affordable quality care. The First Lady also emphasized initiatives on cancer screening, mental health, and women's leadership in healthcare, while endorsing Merck Foundation campaigns on infertility stigma, gender-based violence, and non-communicable diseases. Addressing the committee meeting, she warned of the rising threat of cyberbullying among children and stressed the importance of promoting digital citizenship. On juvenile justice, she outlined the Maldives' rehabilitative approach focused on education, reintegration, and early intervention. She also highlighted food security concerns, urging investment in innovative agriculture such as hydroponics to boost local production and reduce import dependence. The First Lady described the summit as a vital platform for advancing gender equity healthcare and social reform. We'll be back after a short break.
We are all Nathan. So we madness in here today. What's bro? It's the kickoff. It's the new pandemic season. I'll be ready. Yeah. This is new faces, latest drip, and fresh trims. It's time to believe. The greatest league in the world is brought to you by MediaNet.
Kafa, tiga pocket and the Lukonta phone Dani. Kafa, passport to me someone in the GIO. Kafe, Kanita Dani, for she in the GIO.
Kokko hasnuwe kafe dani hajjan umra plan nagag komkamaka kafa haswambi ituru malumat elite mobile net adi myelite.mv
Elite Ilaya, Marhaba.
Duo the Peshumaka. Girado mafase, energy, iron, protein, calcium, vitamin. She gonna say, oh no. Yinama datan ekme at ekhamer.
Yummy.
Goose. Origin was in look more Kikiro. Beautiful. Authorized distributor. We have you private limited.
Welcome to our Moringa Magic Menu. Let's dive into these delicious dishes inspired by Moringa, twirl into wellness with our vibrant Moringa spaghetti. Made with the freshest ingredients. Delight in every bite of our savory Moringa dump. A burst of green goodness. Get a taste of authentic Maldivian food with a fusion of flavors with Moringa rice and tuna skewers. Elevate your meal with Moringa Magic. Welcome back. Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim has announced that the first general practice GP clinic in Mali City will be completed within 1.5 months. The initiative is part of the government's broader efforts to reduce congestion at Indira Gandhi Memorial Hospital, IGMH, and improve access to primary health care. Speaking to local media, Minister Nazim said the GP clinics are expected to bring significant relief to residents by offering treatment for common ailments closer to home. The first clinic is nearing completion and recruitment of medical personnel is already underway. He also announced that construction of a second clinic in Male is scheduled to begin soon. As part of this initiative, the government plans to establish 4 GP clinics across Male City and 6 more in Holomale. Minister Nazim explained that this approach mirrors international healthcare models where patients are encouraged to seek care for minor illnesses at local family clinics rather than at central hospitals. This model, he noted, will not only provide patients with faster and more convenient treatment, but also help alleviate the pressure on IGMH. Currently, the hospital's emergency department sees over 400 patients daily, with nearly 300 of those cases being manageable at a GP clinic level, according to Health Ministry statistics. The expansion of GP clinics is part of the government's wider strategy to enhance healthcare services across the Greater Mali region and the atolls. Many citizens are hopeful that this shift will reduce the need for Maldivians to travel abroad for reliable medical care. Tourist arrivals in the Maldives have reached 1.05 million so far this year, reflecting an 8.9% increase compared to the same period in 2024.
According to the latest statistics released by the Ministry of Tourism and Environment, so far in June, tourist arrivals have stood at 80,909, marking a 16.7% increase compared to the same period last year. Although the country is currently in its off-peak travel season, daily arrivals in June have surpassed those recorded in May. The average daily arrival rate in June was 4,759 compared to 4,375 in May. The daily average for the year stands at 6,234, with February recording the highest daily average so far at 7,646. Arrivals are expected to pick up again later in the year as the peak season approaches. Accommodation data continues to show a strong preference for resort stays. Resorts accounted for 753,973 arrivals, representing 72% of the total. Guest houses received 238,437 tourists, or 22.8%. Hotels recorded 29,498 arrivals. Safari vessels received 24,554 visitors, while other accommodation types accounted for just 815 tourists, or 0.1%. In terms of source markets, China continues to lead with 127,702 arrivals, accounting for 12.2% of the market share. Russia has moved into second place with 117,953 arrivals, 11.3%, overtaking the United Kingdom, which now ranks third with 104,098 arrivals, or 9.9%. Maldives has been stepping up its promotional efforts in key markets. Most recently, Visit Maldives participated in a tourism event in New York aimed at strengthening the country's presence in the North American market. The United States is currently the 8th largest source market for tourists visiting the Maldives.
The Ministry of Fisheries and Ocean Resources has announced a public event titled Mordefest 2025 to commemorate World Oceans Day. The festival will take place on June 21, 2025 at Holumala Phase 1 Beach behind the Dirabo office and will run from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Organized as a community celebration of the ocean, Mordefest 2025 will feature a variety of stalls and activities focused on marine life, ocean conservation, and sustainable use of ocean resources. The event will bring together government agencies, environmental NGOs, private businesses, food vendors, and the public for an afternoon of education and engagement. One of the main highlights of the event is the Discover Dive activity, held in collaboration with local dive centers. The activity offers children the opportunity to experience diving in a safe and supervised setting. Participants, along with event sponsors, will receive commemorative certificates. The festival will also include interactive sessions and sports activities for children, along with information booths designed to raise awareness about ocean protection. The ministry has extended invitations to as many children as possible to take part in the event. Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Resources, Ahmed Shiam, along with senior officials from various state institutions, is expected to attend the festival. World Oceans Day is observed globally on June 8. This year's international theme, Wonder, Sustaining What Sustains Us, highlights the ocean's importance and the need to protect it for its vital role in supporting life on Earth. The Maldives experienced notable developments this past week across healthcare, governance, economic policy, and tourism. From expanded health initiatives and budgetary progress to international engagement and growing tourist capacity, here's a roundup of the week's key events.
Zakat House has distributed over 19 million rupiah in medical aid from January to April, with cancer treatment receiving the most support. Monthly disbursements ranged between 759,128 rupiah and 1.1 million rupiah, covering various chronic and critical illnesses, including organ transplants. Additional funds supported essential aid, general welfare, Quran memorization, and religious programs, demonstrating the Zakat Fund's wide-reaching community support. Continuing efforts to improve public health services, the Ministry of Health has launched a partnership with 24 higher education institutions to raise awareness on blood donation. Health Minister Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim met with institutional heads to coordinate awareness campaigns, urging Maldivians to donate every 3 months to meet the national demand of 220 pints per week. Extending the focus on health, First Lady Madam Sajida Muhammad, speaking at the Merck Foundation First Ladies Initiative Summit in Dubai, called for stronger international collaboration to address healthcare gaps in the Maldives. She stressed the importance of specialized training, particularly in fertility and embryology, while highlighting national campaigns on infertility stigma, gender-based violence, and chronic diseases. She was recognized as an ambassador for the More Than a Mother initiative. On the international front, the Maldivian government strongly condemned Israel's airstrikes on Iran, labeling them as a breach of international law and a threat to regional peace. The Foreign Ministry called for immediate global intervention amid reports of high-profile Iranian casualties, including IRGC commander Hossein Salami, though Iranian state media contested some claims. Domestically, the government announced that August 30th will be observed annually as National Engineers Day in recognition of the profession's contribution to national development. The date marks the 2018 opening of the Sinamala Bridge, a landmark in local infrastructure. Related events will be led by the Ministry of Construction, Housing and Infrastructure, celebrating engineers across multiple disciplines. Notably, the Special Presidential Commission released its final report on the April 18 incident involving Yumna Rashid. Following a 52-day investigation and 69 interviews, the Commission concluded there was no evidence of foul play. Recommendations included strengthening emergency response, evidence handling, and public communication, marking the first time such a report has been made publicly available. In economic news, the Maldives has recorded a budget surplus of 1.1 billion rupiah as of June 5th, a sharp improvement from the 4.26 billion rupiah deficit reported during the same period last year. The shift reflects stronger fiscal management, with GST comprising 60% of tax revenue and non-tax earnings reaching 1.76 billion rupiah. Government expenditures stood at 15.6 billion, while the Sovereign Development Fund grew by nearly 47%. Moody's retained the country's credit rating at Caa2. The government presented its Vision 2040 strategy at an investment forum in New York. Special Envoy Dr. Muhammad Wahid Hassan outlined plans to diversify the economy beyond tourism by modernizing the financial sector, advancing sustainable development, and expanding fisheries. With projected 5% annual growth, the Maldives aims to achieve developed nation status by its 75th year of independence. In sports, the Maldives women's under-16 basketball team celebrated a strong finish at the FIBA Under-16 Asia Cup qualifiers, defeating Bangladesh 86-22 to claim bronze. The team's dominant performance, led by Mariam Kailin Shirwan with 30 points, was cheered by supporters at the youth centre in Male. Meanwhile, the country's tourism sector continues to grow, with more than 700 new beds added so far this year. Total capacity now stands at 64,033 beds across 1,203 registered facilities, including resorts, guest houses, safari vessels, and hotels. Tourist arrivals reached over 1 million by mid-June, a 9.1% increase compared to the same period last year. With 2.3 million arrivals targeted for 2025, the sector remains a cornerstone of the national economy.
That's all we have for you today. Thank you so much for watching and have a lovely day ahead.